Welcome to ITCS 1010. This video is going to help you get started using the MyITLab software, which is where all of the online components of the course are going to be run through. The first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to surf to myitlab.com, and you'll see a screen that looks something like this. At this point, we want to run through the home computer setup. We want to make sure that your computer is completely compatible with running MyITLab, and this is going to really make sure that you have the least number of problems when running this software. So we're going to do the home computer setup. We're going to be using Microsoft Office 2013 in this course, so we'll select this option here, Microsoft Office 2013. We're going to get to a page that asks us if we want to run the browser tune-up for PC or run the browser tune-up for Mac. Now MyITLab is compatible with both Mac and PC platforms, so you'll need to choose the one that's appropriate for the computer that you're running MyITLab on. There's some really good instructions here for the PC and for the Mac that give you step-by-step instructions on how to do all of these things. So if my instructions are a little bit too quick, you can go back and you can look at these instructions and you'll see that there's some nice graphics and pictures that show you exactly how to get through all of these steps. Now I'm just going to run through this a little bit quicker because it's a fairly straightforward installation process, but definitely use this if you run into any trouble or contact your instructor. So I'm going to run the browser tune-up for PC because I'm on a Windows 7 computer right now, and it downloads the file for me. It's a zip file, which means we have to open up that zip file. Now your zip file may be saved into a downloads folder. It may be saved onto your desktop. It all depends on which web browser you're running off of and how your system is configured. Now mine is running off of Google Chrome, but you can use Internet Explorer, you can use Safari, you can use Firefox. All are compatible with MyITLab at this point. So wherever that file downloaded, you want to go and dig that file up. Or you can just, if you happen to be using Google Chrome, you can just click here and choose to open it. So that file opens up, and within there is a folder that includes the setup files. We want to run the MyITLab for Office 2013 setup. That's a pretty straightforward installation. We'll just double click on that file. A warning does come up because Windows doesn't necessarily know where the file came from or necessarily trust it, but we can trust it because this is coming from the site that we want to work with for our MyITLab assignments. So we'll run this program, and you'll see a window come up that looks a bit like this. Now we're going to click Next, and it's going to run us through a couple of menus just to choose some basic things like where we're going to save the file and which user accounts should have this file installed for. Now the defaults are probably going to be just fine for most people. This installation will run through, and then we'll be ready to continue along with our setup. The installation is going to complete, and it should place a brand new MyITLab icon on your desktop. So at this point I can close out of this window, and I can even close out of my web browser. The new MyITLab icon should be on your desktop among all of your other icons, and when you double click on this icon, it actually is going to double check your operating system and several other settings on your computer just to make sure that you're fully compatible. And if it notices any problems, we can address those different issues in a couple of different ways. But the first thing we really want to do is we want to make sure that everything is compatible, and it runs through a couple of settings, including checking which browser is most compatible and clearing the browser cache to make sure everything is going to run very smoothly. And once that completes, it automatically opens your browser for you, and you can go right ahead and log in. Now if you haven't created a new ID yet, we need to do that from the main MyITLab website. So we're going to come back to this page later, and I'll show you can get back to there from right here. But if you still haven't really signed up, we do want to sign up as a student. click on this, and we want to make sure we have these three things. You're going to need your email account. You're going to need a course ID, and that's going to be supplied to you by your instructor. If you have any trouble with your course ID, make sure that you have maybe the first email that your instructor sent, or somehow contact your instructor. This should be provided for you. And then you're going to need the access code that came with your books. Now, if you bought your books through the bookstore, the access code is in the package that it came with. If you bought your books somewhere else, there's a chance that you didn't get a MyITLab access code with your books. In that case, you can purchase the MyITLab access code directly on this website. So we're going to go through and register. Now again, we're going to be using Office 2013 in this class, so you'll choose the Office 2013 option. And then we're going to enter in our course ID. Now this is going to be whatever your instructor has supplied. If everything went smoothly, you should see your course listed up here, and this should have the details of the course that you belong to with your course ID and your information. Now you probably don't have a Pearson account yet, but that's okay. You're going to create one here, and you're going to go through these steps, including adding in some information, your name, your email address, to uniquely identify you. So when you sign into the site, your instructor knows who you are and can grade you appropriately. If you have any additional problems with the Pearson MyITLab registration for your new account, the best place to go is to help. There's some contact information there, as well as some how-tos on how to get this part working. In the past, I haven't seen a lot of trouble with this part. This stuff works pretty good. So once you do get your account, you should end up getting a new email from MyITLab saying that you've got your new account information, and then you can go ahead and sign in and join your course. Now going forward, as you join the MyITLab website again and again to complete your different assignments throughout the term, you may not have this window open, but that's okay. Once you go into this program again, this MyITLab for Office 2013, remember, it's going to clean up your browser, it's going to set everything up for you, and it's going to take you right to the login page. So it shouldn't be very difficult to get back to that page in the future. We'll just let this run through, clean everything up, make sure everything is in good working order, and then it'll open us right to the login page. And this is the login page you're going to see. We're going to put in our username and password here and sign in, and it should take us right to our page that contains all of our course material. Once you get into your course, I do recommend taking a few minutes to kind of poke around and see what you can see in here. There's a couple of different views that you can see. There's the today's view that should show you anything that's new, or anything that maybe has recently been updated. The course materials is where you're going to find most of the work that you're going to need to work through. And there's various links in here that you're going to be working through. Your assignments will all be in here, and other information that you're going to see. And there's always a status here that kind of helps you know how far along you've gone in prior sessions. There's an assignments link, which is going to show you a calendar of when things are due if your instructor has decided to use that, and a to-do list, things that you're going to need to do next in order before they're due. If you ever run into any trouble, there's a technical support link available, and if the text is a little small, you can always increase the size of the text